This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by TouringPlans.com. Hey, you're planning your next trip to Walt Disney World. You've got your reservation to your hotel booked, your ADRs, and you're ready for the best vacation you're going to ever have at Walt Disney World. And you show up there, and what happens? Len's there. All right, well, you know what? You can deal with Len being over there. Hopefully, you won't see him much. The smell gets a little intense. But the next worst thing that could happen at Walt Disney World, worst thing would be long lines. Who wants to deal with that? I don't want to deal with that. So why not check out touringplans.com. Touringplans.com has got all the resources you're going to need to help you plan that perfect trip to Walt Disney World to avoid all those lines. These are easy to follow plans that help you figure out where to go in the park at any time in the given day. And that means no waiting in lines. Certainly not as much as if you were going without them. So check them out online at www.touringplans.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Monday, December 20th, 2010, and this is episode 814 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of the Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. Len, has it snowed yet in North Carolina?
It has actually. In fact, the night I got home from Justin Bieber last Wednesday, I went to the Justin Bieber concert.
What?
Oh my God!
Why, Len?
I know.
Why?
It would have been a little less awkward if I would have taken someone with me. But yeah, going by yourself is just.
You just have tears rolling down your cheek.
I was like, Justin, but I swear,
I love you.
I know, but
You shared the same air as Justin Bieber.
Well, here's the thing. There was at one point, he was like, I was like, 6 sections back or whatever from the stage. But at one point, when they lifted him up in the giant metal heart and he was doing his acoustic song, I swear he was singing. He looked right at me when he was singing one of his songs.
If 19-year-old version of you could come back and forward in time, he would kill you right now. In his Van Halen t-shirt.
Oh,
Exactly.
my God. Did they really lift him up in a metal heart?
A middle, yes. Yes.
Wow. Also joining us on today's show is a Mike Newell of Mouse Radio. Mike, I was just thinking, for our next live show, I think we need a huge metal heart.
No. What bums me out is that Len turned down going to see Journey to go see Justin Bieber in a metal heart.
It was. I'm not a big Journey fan actually, and
at this point, I'd go see the Bee Gees over.
Linda, my sister actually went to see Journey. The deal is that one adult rotates taking the kids to see these kinds of shows, so I got to miss Miley Cyrus twice and Journey, and I had to go do Justin Bieber.
The way out of that is, you know what? Guess what, kids? Aunt Christina's coming down for the weekend.
Exactly.
Let her jump on that grenade.
Yeah, really.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for alleears.net. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, look at all the humans in the human tank.
Turtle Talk with Crush.
Yeah, I was listening to some old shows, and we never used to say what it was from. We just kind of giggled and then moved on after Scopa said his quote. It was kind of awkward now that I'm listening to it.
Awkward. Not as awkward to be the only guy in a Justin Bieber show, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, on today's show, we're going to be talking about change of hearts. And certainly over the years going to Walt Disney World, we've all had an attraction, a restaurant, a hotel, some element of Walt Disney World that we either really didn't like at all at one point and then came to really enjoy it, or maybe the other way around. Maybe something we used to love and now that's not the case anymore. We don't really love it anymore. So we're kind of talk about some of those options. And Mr. Scopa, since this was your show topic, I think it's appropriate that you start things off. So what's something that comes to mind for you, Mike?
Well, a lot of things, but the thing that I think best describes what we're trying to say here is I have two resorts which I've seen a switcheroo over the last several years.
Switcheroo.
And for a while there, Air Beach Resort was a special favorite of mine, and it kind of turned around in February when I was there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just not as shiny as it used to be or whatever, but for about 6 years back in the 90s, it was my favorite, and now it's not. It just doesn't hold that special place anymore in my heart now. So there's a change of heart going from like to dislike, and the resort that I kind of like right now is Coronado Springs. The first time I was there, I didn't like it, but now I kind of like it. I think it's very good quality. I think it might be the best quality for the best quality moderate resort on the property, and that's funny because I really didn't like it the first time around. Now I like it. I like the rooms. I like the layout of the rooms. I like the decor. I like running around there, jogging around there. I like Pepper Market. It's really grown on me. So that's my change of heart duo, so to speak.
Interesting. Okay. One place that came to mind for me was 1900 Park Fair, and this is the restaurant in the Grand Floridian that I used to really enjoy quite a bit. But
this is the really big room. They used to do Mary Poppins themed.
Yeah, they still do. Yeah, in the morning, and for breakfast, it's like British characters: Mary Poppins, Bert, and like Alice in Wonderland. And for dinner, they do Cinderella and assorted characters. But I don't know what it is. But I mean, I used to love this place especially for breakfast. But it's just not the same anymore for me. I mean, certainly the last time I went there, I said to myself, that's it. I'm done with this place. It's not bad. It's not like it's awful. Like, ooh, never go there. It lost whatever it was for me, and I just don't feel a compelling need to go back there anymore. And I'm not sure if it's maybe the prices have just gone up too much to make it, it's priced itself out of its from a quality standpoint. But it just does, in terms of buffets, especially character meals, it lost me for quite a bit.
But it was never one of my favorites.
Yeah, I used to like it. I thought it was a good alternative to like Crystal Palace, and a little cheaper, a little easier to get into. Same good location because it's certainly easy to get to the Magic Kingdom or Chef Mickey's for that matter. And I just, it just lost it lost that love and feeling, Len.
Now it's
it
gone.
never looks my way anymore when we touch our lips. Yeah.
Oh my.
There's no tenderness when we touched at our fingertips.
Oh my.
One of the things
Justin Bieber.
You're trying hard not to show it, baby.
These are killing me. One of the things that I've sort of lost.
But baby, I know it.
You'll be saying "baby" pretty soon, there, buddy.
Yeah, you.
All right, go ahead, Lon. Sorry.
I'm really not a big fan of sit down dining and then buffets in particular anymore. I just don't think they're worth the money. I can't justify the time. I can't justify the hassle of getting ADRs, 6 months in advance for them, and I can't justify the price, especially with kids. It's just totally not worth it to me.
The price is really tough because I think they're all at least $35, if not closer to $40, right?
40, yeah. I think in 2011 it's going to be $40 a pop for buffets for dinner. And it's just if you can't eat $40 worth of food, it's really difficult to justify.
Says the man who ate a Butterfinger cupcake.
Yeah, that was like a $6 cupcake, man. And really, I was good for the rest of the day. The thing that I'm sort of on the fence about, I'm not sure whether I like it or not, is the dining plan. We did a show on this a couple of weeks back, but when I was using the dining plan, the amount of food that you get on the dining plan is really just crazy, and I can't tell whether that's a good thing or not. I mean, I suppose if you're, if food is a central component of your enjoyment at Walt Disney World, then it might be a good thing. I just can't eat that much food all the time.
Yeah, that's why I don't like it, Len, because it's like people say, "Oh, so much food, it's a great value," but it's like, well, if you were paying for cash, would you have bought all that food?
No,
if you're paying for cash,
not every day.
Yeah, so that's the problem. You can't compare the dining plan to paying cash because you're not doing the same stuff. So obviously, it's not as good. To me, it seems like you're getting more than you need, and therefore it's not worth it.
I mean, I just can't imagine. I mean, I ate the one Butterfinger cupcake, right? And that was I guess fun to do once. Imagine having to do that 2 or 3 times a day. That's what the dining plan was like to me at the end. I couldn't take it.
What about you, Newell? What's something for you?
I was trying to think about things that disappointed me more. And one thing, I know we talked about this a while back, but I'm going to emphasize it again. The lack thereof of Christmas decorations in the parks this year. Like, you walk into Epcot and you don't see any. I mean, when you first come in, you see a little tree here and there in the beginning, Then you get to the edge of the Fountain of Nations, and there's that little stage set up, and they have a couple trees there. But then the next thing after that is the big tree. They used to decorate Epcot, and I'm not talking about the Lights of Winter, but there used to be more decorations, I thought, in previous years. And it just seems this year they've really like if you went into Future World East or West, you wouldn't even know it was holiday time because there's
the Magic Kingdom didn't even have a Christmas tree up until after the Christmas parade.
Yeah, I think that's because they were taping. Because the tree kind of gets in their way of taping.
But they always used to have the tree. They would just move it.
They would move it, right, and it wasn't there this year. I didn't notice that until you mentioned it, but I thought there was a lack of Christmas decorations, and that really bummed me out because that was always a big
the
deal
Magic
to me.
Kingdom is thinking, well, the kids are out of the house. There's no real point in actually doing the decorations because no one's really around to enjoy it. It's really all just too much hassle. And maybe in a couple of years when they after they've had some time to relax, they'll start bringing them out again.
I don't know. It just seemed a little bummed out because back in the day, the big thing was the day after Thanksgiving, that night everything was transformed over and it was all done in one day. And now it's just, it seems like they'll put a little bit here and there if they want, and it just wasn't the same as in previous years.
And you don't get, I can remember the first time I was down there for the first Mouse Fest back in 2003, and I thought on my way down there, I said, well, how can I get any kind of a Christmas spirit in Florida? But I did because of all the decorations and all the, the Christmas carols that you could hear and the lights and everything, and I didn't get that this year. And like you said, Mike, I was extremely disappointed. I made it a point to go to the front of Epcot to see what it was like when you first went in the turnstiles, and I was just floored by you saw a little bit of poinsettias or whatever you call them, and that was it. No lights or anything.
Nothing.
And it was just very, very, very disappointing.
Now, on the flip side of that, to Mike, I will say the resorts are decked out. The lobbies in the resorts looked beautiful.
Yeah.
I will say that at the Wilderness Lodge, we went into the Polynesian. We went at any of the resorts, and even Pop Century. Pop Century had a big tree when we first walked in. All the resorts were decked out. It's the parks that I noticed were definitely lacking.
One attraction that I've changed my opinion on has been Living with the Land. And I used to really hate Living with the Land. I thought it was so boring and so uninteresting, and this is more, I guess when I was younger. And now in recent years, I love that attraction. I think it's really interesting. I think maybe what also made it better attraction is the fact that it's a recorded spiel as opposed to a cast member there.
Right.
And the problem with the cast member there is, occasionally you get some good ones, but more often than not, I just remember them being really boring. Just like, kind of like that monotone. On the left side, we have the lemons, and the lemons are made. There are over 400 lemon trees at Walt Disney World. You know what I mean? Like that kind of like, you really can't get into it.
Yeah.
But I think the spiel is a little bit better now that it's kind of standardized, and I enjoy looking at everything they're going there. And the other great thing about it is that it seems like there's always something a little different going on over there. It's not the same thing every single time, which is always nice that there's some, a change to be enjoyed.
Good.
Scott, what about you? Going back to you here.
Well, it's funny. Something happened during reunion. I went into Via Napoli twice, and the first time I didn't like it, and I said, I got to go back a second time. Second time I went, I liked it. So I mean, that was a 48-hour change of heart.
Scopa likes Italian food in Epcot. Stop the presses.
Yeah, stop the presses.
What didn't you like about it the first time, Mike?
The Italians that were.
I think that the first time, I think that it's one of the things that an Italian restaurant has always been for me is an enigma. And by that I mean there are, if you've got 12 entrees that they offer you, there's always going to be some that just don't hit me right. They just don't make them the way that I was taught to make, and that I have a problem with that. And then I get a chance to taste some of the entrees that, I think should be made a certain way, and they do it that way. And it's like, oh man, I can't really say I like all of the stuff that's available in the restaurant, and I can't say I hate all of it. So I just try to be fair. And the second time around, I tried some different things. I didn't do a Len Testa thing with trying all the appetizers, but I tried different appetizers, and I tried a couple of things, and it was pretty good. And I have to give the restaurant staff a lot of credit. It was really a pleasure to be there because they're all very friendly, all very attentive, and it's a very, very good restaurant. So it just hit me that was a 48-hour change of heart.
Yeah, I like Via Napoli quite a bit too. I mean, I think the food's. I'm not sure I like the appetizers very much, but you can't beat the pizza. And I think it's actually for the amount of food you get, it's not a terrible value. It's really not bad, and the wait staff is really good. I really like the decor too. It's very open, very loud, the way a kitchen should be. So I like it a lot.
Actually, one thing I don't like, I used to like, don't like, is the counter service in Mexico. I'm just not a big fan of the changeover. I thought that before the La Cantina, the one, the outside one,
right,
I thought that was good to begin with before. I thought it was, some decent food options. Nothing like, going to blow your world away, but I thought it was still, good, a solid option, when you're in the area. Hey, you want to get something to eat, good nachos. I remember Reunion 2009, we were eating over there and it tasted mighty good to me. And then they changed it over now, and it just seems there's a more limited menu and the prices are ridiculous. I mean, chips and salsa is like $10, which is, outrageous. So
yeah, they're good. They're good chips and salsa. Are they better than Taco Bell chips and salsa? I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I just not.
Yeah,
so that's one
price.
place.
Right, that's twice the price.
Yeah, exactly. So that's one place that I used to like and not so much anymore. Anyone else have any others?
I used to like the Tomorrowland Terrace Noodle Station when it was open.
Yes.
And I can't like it anymore.
I've heard they got rid of. I think I read it somewhere probably on Disney Food Blog that they got rid. It's now they don't even have the Asian stuff anymore. Now it's just Tomorrowland Terrace. It's just
it's just right. Yeah, they were down to a limited number of.
Yeah, it was like chicken
Asian
fingers
things.
and
anyway,
and
they did
fries.
sushi for dinner and stuff. But the last time I was there, it just looked like a regular menu.
when it's open.
when it's open.
Yeah, when it's open.
Yeah.
I swear the space could be a lot more than that. I think a sit down restaurant in Tomorrowland is the next thing, man.
Something I got sold on actually was at the Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party. I'm not a big fan of the party, but I thought the stage show they do there. I saw it this year for the first time in a long time. You know what? It's actually not bad at all. I think it's probably the highlight of the party, to be honest with you. The stage show, which I forget the name.
On the forecourt?
Yeah, the one in front of the castle.
Celebrate the season.
Sure. And
Sure.
sure, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know what the name is, but I thought that was really.
Celebrate the season.
Oh, thank you, Mike. I thought it was really good. It reminded me a lot of these shows I hear like on Mouse World Radio every now and then, and I'm always like, man, that was a good show. Like I just enjoyed that kind of. And in terms of stage shows, I thought it was very well done, very good music, and never really any dull moments. I really enjoyed it, and this is after years I was just like, stage shows in front of the castle. I just had no tolerance for it all, but I really come to enjoy that. And I thought that one was, especially now with, there's really nothing in that party anymore. The night before, it was the night before Christmas is gone, and the parade is, the fireworks are okay, but the stage show really does it for me. So that's something that I have found to be refreshingly good.
Great.
Last one.
Matt, I two things. I want to agree. I hate to say this, and we've had shows, and people have asked us, but I'm not sure. I'm willing to say, try the Christmas party anymore. I hate to say it like that, but it's really not. It's really something that had a big change of heart. So that's number one. And the last thing I want to say, and this is something for the last couple of years, I felt I have a change of heart for Spaceship Earth. I mean, I still enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed it before they did the changeover a couple of years ago. I just think Deb Wills said it best one time. She said when they changed it, it's like an E-ticket going up and it's an A-ticket coming down, and that's how I feel about it. Yeah,
I totally agree, Mike. On both counts, I think the Halloween party. I've gone, I think, every year now for the past couple of years, and every year I say I don't need to go this year, and every year I end up going. But the Halloween party, I think, is still, especially if you've never been there, it's totally worth going to. But I really have to agree with you on the Christmas party. I just don't see the even for a first timer. It's like, yeah, you could, but it's,
and you hate to say that, Matt, but you got to be honest.
Yeah, it's just I just don't. I mean, basically, I would say if you're going, just go ride the rides and don't even bother with the party stuff because it's just totally not worth it.
Yeah.
And I agree with you, Spaceship Earth. So good point.
Okay, the last thing that I'm not in love with is value resorts. I mean, I had fun at the All Star Resort last time, but I don't know whether I'm getting old and I just need a nice, comfortable bed and I want people to take care of me, all the time. But
got a place for Grandpa right over here.
We got a place for
got a nice
Grandpa right over
pillow
here.
for you to put on your face.
Got a place for you right here, Grandpa.
Nice. Sometimes I just want to be pampered. And I think part of the problem was I was walking through the Polynesian,
and all those young people were making all that noise.
I saw them on the grass. I was like, "Get off my lawn!" And seeing the Polynesian when you're staying at the All-Star is just really difficult. So, what are you gonna do?
Okay, fair enough. I can see your point, definitely. Well, that's do it for us today. Don't forget this episode of WDW Today has been sponsored by TouringPlans.com. And hey, if you're planning that trip to Walt Disney World, make sure you have a great touring plan with you. And the best place to get a touring plan is, of course, TouringPlans.com. It's in the name, and it makes sense because they've got a touring plan for literally almost any situation you could think of. I mean, there's a touring plans for, you arrive half day at a park, and you're touring with kids, and it's a holiday. They've got one for that. They've got one for almost any scenario you could think of. And the best part about them, all of them are going to help you see much more in Walt Disney World for less time. So check them out online right now at www.touringplans.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.